Hello, everybody. Welcome to King Shit Talk. I am Salid, and I want to thank you for joining me again on this quest called Life. And we're gonna have some fun today. Gonna talk about something that I think goes on in a lot of relationships or situationships, but sometimes people don't want to talk about it, or you know, they just choose to not be as transparent as they probably should. And I was speaking on a panel earlier. Uh, my man Jay, who has a podcast, the Cognac podcast, definitely check him out. But he had some interesting things that he was talking about on there, and I always say it's a beautiful day in the peaceful woods, a beautiful day to be peaceful. Could you be mine, and would you be mine? He had some young ladies and some gentlemen on there, and he was talking about passes in relationships, situationships, whatever you want to call them. And the past that I'm talking about is the past that some people give their partners to, that allows them to step outside of, the relationship that they're in, to sleep with other people, build relationships with other people. And we were calling it McDonald's. We were saying, the kitchen will describe that as being home. That's your relationship. That's your mate. And McDonald's is the side piece, the person you're stepping out with. And so this young lady was saying that she gives, or did give, her partner 3 times to go to the drive-through window, meaning he could do what he wanted to do with this person, but she wouldn't have an issue with it until after the third time, because she said that women tend to start getting emotional or getting attached after the third time of sleeping with a man. Now, I think that can happen the first time you roll around with somebody, depending on if a guy is looking at it as just a sex thing and he just trying to get his nut off or whatever, or if he's really treating every single situation like he's with his main woman. There's some guys out there that every sexual encounter is like a love making session. They ain't just in there for the wham bam. So when you have those type situations, then it's very easy for a person to catch feelings after the first time. So it's kind of like a dangerous slope to play as the partner giving the passes, to say, okay, you have 3 times to do whatever you're going to do with somebody. Me personally, I'm not trying to give any passes. If I'm committed to being in a relationship with you, and we've discussed what that's going to look like, then you're not getting any passes. Now, if we go into it and it's you telling me that, hey, I like to go explore other things, then I have the option to say, no, I don't want to do that. I'm not with that. That's not my thing. Or I can say, okay, well, that's cool, but also I have these certain boundaries with it, because you're signing contracts with people when you start getting into these relationships and situations with folk. But the thing is, people alter contracts all the time. So if you're gonna jump into that box, then just know that it can get shifty, it can get shaky, because you have some that'll go to McDonald's, and then when they're on the way back home, they'll see Krispy Kreme on the side and decide they want a donut too. Then after that, they'll see Starbucks and decide, hey, let me get a coffee before I get home too. So now that something that you've given a pass for has become an all-out buffet. And then when you find out about it, it's when the problems arise, because they were talking about people being crazy, and I've seen men be crazy too. But this particular broadcast was talking about the women getting crazy, how we as men do all these things, and then we wonder why the woman's scratching up the car, as Jasmine Sullivan said, and breaking out the windows and throwing the clothes out. And I'm not condoning that type of behavior, but for the most part, when we're in these situations and women tend to do these things, we pretty much know why you're doing it. We know the why, because 9 times out of 10, the why has something to do with us. And like I was saying, we the problem is we say, and when I say we, I'm talking about men now. A lot of times men will say they want the home cooked meal. That's all I want, babe. I just want the home cooked meal. I don't care about anything else. If I can eat at home every day, then I'm good. I'm content. I'm satisfied. And so when the woman is cooking and thinking that that's all you want, then we wonder why it's a problem when she finds bags of McDonald's, Burger King, and Dairy Queen, and everything else in the backseat of your car. It's because we came into this contract saying one thing, but then we did another. The woman's heart and her soul attached to this idea that we said we wanted and said things were going to be, and then they found out that we voided that contract. We took the power, the agency away from them by changing up the terms of the contract without even allowing them to, be privy to what we were changing. And then we get to sit back and just say, oh, she's crazy. Or, oh, I didn't tell her A, B, or C. Or I don't know why she thought this, and this. Okay, you don't know why she thought that you were all about her when you laying up with her every single day, when you're telling her you love her every single day, when you're meeting a family and you're doing things with her, and then all of a sudden I don't know why she's acting like this. I don't think a lot of times we put ourselves in women's shoes when it comes to certain situations. And there are some times where we just don't care. There's just a lack of caring about how they feel about certain situations, or how we make certain things look, or what we're actually doing. And that falls into the accountability platform. There's a old saying that the grass isn't green on the other side, or you think the grass is green on the other side, or you're cutting grass and you see a fence and then grass pops under the fence. I don't know. You guys know what I'm talking about. But the grass isn't always green on the other side. I think that's it. But unfortunately, the grass doesn't even have to be greener for a lot of people to go into somebody else's yard. It's just access. Sometimes that's all it takes, is access. And it's not so much the going to McDonald's. The lady that was on was saying that it's not the going to McDonald's that's a problem for her. It's when the man tries to buy the McDonald's. Like, he wants more than just the soft serve ice cream cone. He wants everything on the menu, and he wants to own it. And that takes away from the dynamic that they had at home. It kind of diminishes her role. She's like, okay, I'm the man. How is the main getting less than the side? And that's why that the whole side chick thing, side dude, whatever you want to call it, that's what gets so sticky with that. Because instead of people just staying single and roaming and dating, doing what they want to do, then you're not having to worry about the whole side thing. They're getting into relationships. They're bonding with people that aren't on the same kind of time that they're on. Because if you want to dip and slip and dip and kick, that's cool. That's fine. But make sure that your partner is okay with that. Make sure that your partner is cool with that. Make sure that your partner knows that that's what it is from Jump Street. Because what we tend to do is get into the situation and have them thinking they're the one and only, and then we slowly but surely try to ease what we really want into the situation. Once we've already, secured them and they love us, now is okay. Well, this is how I am. This is what I desire. This is what I want. And that's like smacking somebody in the face with a bat. We have to understand why that's 9 times out of 10 not going to go over well. And then you have the situations where the people say, just tell me from day one, so that I have an opportunity to decide on whether I want it or not. And I've even fallen into this before, where I've told a lady, yeah, I don't want anything serious. I'm cool with just floating around. And she said, okay, yeah, I'm cool with that. Thank you for telling me. Thank you for being honest. And then over time, and not even a long amount of time, over a short amount of time, you start feeling the energy shift. And can I come see you? Nah, I'm chilling today. I'm kicking it with somebody else, and then you have the problems of, well, you were just with me last week or whatever, and no, you knew what it was. So a lot of times, I say that to say this: there are times as well where you can be totally upfront. I mean, completely transparent, completely open to what you desire, what you want, and give the other person the opportunity to decide if they want to attach themselves to it. And sometimes they will attach themselves to it, and they'll be the ones that, alter the contract. It's a roll of the dice with things like that. And that's why they get so sticky, because you just never know what's going to happen. You can have the best intentions and go at it the exact way that they say they want you to come at it, and it can still go left. That's just the way life goes. But in the event that you're going to have a monogamous relationship and grow and be with someone, and it's going to be 100 from the both of you, then I don't think it's wise to offer up any kind of hall passes. I think that's what they call them, hall passes, or allowing someone to go outside of what you're building, unless, like I said, that's just what you desire. That's just what you're ready for. But a lot of times, I don't think we even really know what we want. We say things because it sounds good. Most men, if they were being honest with women 100% of the time, they'll tell them something like, hey, I think you're sexy. I want to, sleep with you, possibly do more than that, hang out with you when it's convenient for me, kick it with you, go out sometimes, but I want to do the same exact thing with 10 other women. That's what they can have in their head that they want to say, and they're going to be that honest. But how many men do you know that's going to say that? Even if the woman is saying, "Oh, trust me, you could tell me anything. I'm not like what you're used to. I may be into whatever you're into." Man can hear that, but for the most part, they've probably had situations or prior relationships where they weren't even that open and still caught hell. They were with someone that thought they did something and they still caught hell. There was anger shown to them that probably scared them. And they're like, you can tell me all day long. I can be open. I can be honest with you. I can tell you anything. But, and that but is what stops a lot of men from opening up. Because, I mean, you see it, you hear it in songs, you see it on TV, you see it in movies. It rarely goes well when those particular men tell women exactly what is in their head and their hearts for what they want to do. And it's unfortunate because it has created the society of, for lack of a better word, liars and manipulators and connivers. And some of them are downright evil. They purposely secure a person's soul, secure a person's heart, knowing the entire time that they aren't going to be completely honest with the person. Excuse me. They aren't going to be faithful. They aren't going to be true. They aren't going to be everything that the person they're with wants them to be. And this is not just a man thing, because I mean, it definitely goes both ways, like most things do. But a lot of people know from the very beginning whether they're going to be 100% loyal to the person they're with, whether they're going to be exactly what that person wants from them. We all know that from jump. Now, situations change, things go certain kind of ways. It might not always be peaches and cream, but we know from the beginning whether we have the ability, capacity, or desire to be what our partners want us to be for them. But there's something in us as people that will keep us from relaying that to our partners. And sometimes it's strictly, we care enough not to hurt the person that we're with. And then people say, well, if you know you're going to hurt them, why don't you just walk away from it, let them be? That's easy to say. But you might like being with your partner. There may be things that you love about them. You may not want to detach from them. And that's a selfish way of looking at it, now that I think about it, because you know that at some point you're going to hurt them. At some point they're going to be hurt, which in turn will hurt you. But the idea, subconsciously, we think, well, right now it's not bad though, so I'll just let it keep being what it's gonna be. It's not a logical way of looking at things, but it's a defense mechanism. Nobody wants to be sad. Nobody wants to be mad. Nobody wants to be used, taken advantage of. Nobody wants these things, yet everyone experiences these things in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Make that make sense. Something that nobody wants, everyone experiences. And a lot of times it's just as simple as someone saying, this is what I desire. Point blank. Let me get it out. My intention isn't to hurt you, but that doesn't mean you won't be hurt. But this is what I desire. This is what I want for my life. Oh, if it could be so simple. But there's so many things that take precedent over the truth. And you'll have so many people say, "Oh, but that's not right. All you just be honest. Just tell them." And those are the same people that are doing the same type things. Maybe not on the level of stepping out on their partners, but in some form of life, in the everyday lives that we have, we're lying to somebody. Even if it's lying to ourselves, or we're covering something, or we're not being authentic. There are things that we want to say to people that we've been in relationship with for a long time, sometimes years, that we're still holding on to. We still haven't said. And why do we continue to do that? Because with certain things, we'll say, "I'm grown. I can do whatever I want to do. I can say whatever I want to say. You can't make me do A, B, or C." But yet there are still things that we won't tell the people that we're supposed to love. The people that trust us, the people that we pour into. There are still things that we don't feel comfortable saying to them or telling them. There's a lot of growth that we all still have that we need to come to grips with knowing that we're all still babies, essentially. Emotionally, we're still babies. There are still things that push our buttons that set us off at the blink of an eye. There are so many areas that we haven't matured completely in. A lot of times we can't be real with ourselves, but yet we're trying to be real with other people. There are so many half truths and lies that we're telling ourselves on a daily basis. And some of them are so simple yet so complex. We tell ourselves that we're good people. We tell ourselves that we want peace. We tell ourselves that we're understanding, we're patient. When in actuality, our lives are showing that we aren't any of that. Everyone wants to be the big stepper until it's time to walk. A lot of us men want to be kings until it's time to effectively rule. A lot of women want to be queens until it's time to effectively stand by your king, uplift your king, support your king. We want to be viewed and treated as kings, but we want to be reckless. But we can't have it both ways. You can't be reckless and not lead correctly, but yet still want the women to treat us like kings and submit to us and, just be all giddy with the butterflies and mesmerized by us, but we're constantly hurting them. We're continuously showing them that they can't depend on us. But we want these same women to ride for us. It's hard to understand it because it doesn't make good sense. But what do? We know it doesn't make good sense. We know that it's not positive, it's not productive, it's not going to get us anywhere. But we keep doing it. Day after day, we continue to stay on the same merry-go-round. Hoping that it'll change. hoping that some way, somehow, we're going to meet this magical person that decides to fix everything that's wrong with us. How many times have you gotten with somebody or been in a situation and told yourself, the next person I get with, it won't be like that? I'm going to settle down for the next person. Or I'm going to do right for the next person. Or I've got it all out of my system. The next person I get with, that's going to be the one. And then you get with that person, and enough time goes by, and you take a long, hard look in the mirror, and everything looks the same. And you find yourself saying it again. I'm going to do right this time. I'm not going to do these things that I used to do this time. I've said it more times than I can count. So I know what it's like. I've been there. I've been that person. I've been that guy before that was in a relationship and wanted the, how can I say this? Wanted the king treatment, but knew the whole time that I was not treating the person I was with anywhere near deserving of king treatment. I had to recognize that within myself in order to fix it, though. I had to want to do different, want to be better. But you see, and a lot of times you have that desire, but you see all of these things around you that look the same as the shit that you were just in. And it starts making you feel like that's all that there is out there. I mean, until you attach yourself with something different. But before you do that, you just feel like everything is that way. Everything's going to have the same outcome. Every relationship is going to end a certain kind of way. And unfortunately, when you get with people that are truly heaven sent, that are good for you, you have these things that feel like past situations. You have these fears, you have these ideas or these windows that you're looking out of, and you're kind of expecting things to go a certain way. You self-sabotage yourself without even knowing. And a lot of good people get hurt in the process because we're hurt and we were hurt and we didn't take the time to fix ourselves before we moved on. Why? Because we self-medicate. We lie to ourselves. We're our own therapist. We're so vain. People are so vain. Oh, I don't need to go talk to anybody. I can fix this myself. I mean, as simple as me just saying, I'm not going to do it anymore. No, it's not that simple. We all have choices. We all are powerful in our own rights, but you have to understand yourself completely in order to be able to fix yourself. A lot of us need help with that. We tell ourselves we don't. I thought for a long time that every situation that was going on with me, I could fix it. I didn't need to talk to anybody. I know what's good for me and mine. If it's not working, I can fix it. It's simple as me just saying, boom, I'm going to stop doing this, or you need to stop doing that, and then we're good. No, we're not. It's a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound. Might stop the bleeding for a second. It's going to start back up again, though. Sometimes the hardest things to understand and get a grasp on is ourselves, our own shortcomings, our own issues. But we got to get it right. We got to get it right somehow, or it's just going to get worse. The kind of things that we dealt with 15, 20 years ago, the same situation can come up now and it'd be 10 times worse than what it was then. And most of us have children that we're trying to put on a path that's different than the path we were on. We're trying to ensure that they come up and be a lot better than we were. A lot of the things that we get on to them about, we're still doing. All it takes is time, meditation, being honest with yourself. That's what I want everyone to take away from everything that I just said. We have to be honest with ourselves about who we are, about what we want, about what we bring to this quote unquote table that gets talked about all the time. You don't want to put a lot of BS on a perfect table. The food that you place on that table, you want it to be able to be edifying to whomever is eating it. So we have to fix ourselves in order to create what's good for us and other people. Love yourself so you can love others. Educate yourself so you can educate others. Heal yourself so you can heal others. I say again to please check out the Three Queens Vulnerably Naked. Their podcast is absolutely amazing. I said a couple of words on there last night. They're on every Wednesday at 8 o'clock, I think. Don't quote me on that. It's 7:30, 8 o'clock, or 8:30. One of the three. I would say try them at 7 just so you don't miss it. But it's definitely between 7 and 8. You know what? I think it may be 7:30 or 8 o'clock. One of those. But anyway, it's a magnificent podcast. Definitely check it out. Brown Roots podcast. Mark is the host of that podcast. Please check that out as well. Very intelligent brother. Like and subscribe my YouTube page because I post this podcast on there, and I also do poetry that I write. I post that on there as well. Please support that. Share this with everybody you know and even those that you don't know, because the point is for us all to grow together, teach each other, learn more about ourselves so that we can better know others, so we can spread a lot of the positive energy that is within us, because there's so much negative out there. We need to get on this positive train, get a lot of this out there as well. I truly enjoy the time that I have to talk to you guys. I truly enjoy you listening or watching. I truly appreciate you, because there's a lot of other things you could be doing, like watching Law and Order or Snowfall or BMF or something like that, because I'm gonna watch me some Snowfall in a little bit. But thank you. I love you. Keep pressing forward.